I'm here with Shelly Gaynor of Independent Living Movement Ireland. Shelly, thank you for joining me. You have been an incredible activist and advocate in our region, and I'm really excited to talk to you. What is important to you about community leadership?
Well, everyone is given an equal platform to say how they're feeling or what issues they come across are equally accepted as everybody else. You know, that everyone is on an even playing field, and that, all opinions and all sectors of society are dealt with in the same way, and there's equality for everyone.
And can you tell me a little bit about the activism that you've been involved in?
Yeah, I've been involved in the independent living movement for 20 odd years, and most of it's about equality for disability rights, whether that be personal assistance support or, and mobility allowance. So just trying to get disabled people the same rights as the rest of the society.
And there are problems to solve all the time, aren't there?
Yeah, it's an ongoing battle. You kind of solve one issue, or you think you've educated people on one issue, and then something else comes up. The biggest challenge that we have is that people constantly don't have enough personal assistant hours, and people kind of think PA is the same as home care, which is anything but. Because when you have a home care package, you're not allowed to go outside your home, so it's only get you up out of the bed, get you up out of the bed, or whilst you rest. But the PA is like your arms and legs. So for me, a PA allows me to live independently. But they drive my car on my behalf, so they literally act as my arms and legs. So an awful lot of activism work is about educating people, as well as trying to get equal rights to services that you need, not even services that you want, services that you need to live your life the way you want to live it.
And having that choice is really important on top of just having your everyday needs met.
Yeah.
Are there particular challenges to being a disability rights campaigner?
Yeah. Access, believe it or not, physical access into buildings can be a bit of a nightmare, or the meeting might be, upstairs, and I just don't think that, a wheelchair access, or just even I'm lucky in the sense that I have a good PA package of 99 hours per week, but many people that I work with may not have anything like that number of hours. So even trying to get into the meet might be a nightmare, like transport or like the PA hours. They don't have somebody to assist them to go to the meet. So there's loads of things where you might need, ISL interpreters to go to the meet. There's lots of different issues that people don't even think about. So in many ways, the pandemic has helped people. Everything has gone online, and more people are aware of Zoom and different platforms. But there's many reasons that can stop disabled activists being able to take part fully in, community work or meetings.
So when we're talking about women taking a seat at the table, you're talking about even not even being able to get into the building.
Yeah. And, that's kind of what turns an awful lot of people off going into activism work, because it's just so difficult. And then for a woman, you might have, just because you have a disability doesn't mean you won't have childcare issues like the next woman. But it's something that people don't think about. Like if you've got a disability and you need support to get out of bed, and then you need to get your children up out of bed, it's an ongoing battle. Like it's an ongoing battle for many disabled activists, both women and men.
And when I see you out doing the advocacy and representation, you're so brilliant at putting that point across, but it's easy to forget that for you even to get there is so much that you have to manage in your day.
Yeah, there's a lot of preparation. Unfortunately, living with a disability in Ireland, you can't be as spontaneous as you would like. So as you say, even to get to the door of it all, there could be a 2 or 3 hour process before the meeting, inverted commas, might even start. I might have to get a PA to come in earlier, so they start their shift earlier. We have to, get washed and dressed, and that it's mundane, but it might take that bit longer for somebody with a disability. They can't just jump into the shower and have a 5 minute shower. Having a 5 minute shower when you have a disability is almost unheard of. By the time you put your sling on, you get into the hoist, it's things take time. So with disability, there's an awful lot of planning has to go into place.
And that's, I think, really helpful to hear that when we're talking about being inclusive, when we're talking about including as many women from as many different backgrounds as possible in community leadership, we can so often forget about those barriers.
Yeah, they're to many people that live with it, they're the norm. But to many people, as you said, they're not even aware of it. It's like I'm lucky, I have a car and I have the PA package to allow me to get stuff to go to that car. But if you don't have a car and you haven't got access to a vehicle, then you might have to get onto a bus or a train. And again, that takes preparation because you have to bring ahead, you have to make sure that the lift in the station is working, if you're getting a dart or you're getting a train, and then the bus might arrive and the route might roll out. So there's an awful lot of planning and preparation that goes into everyday life that people don't even think of. And even if the ramp on the bus is working, there might be a buggy in the wheelchair spot, and the person might be somewhat reluctant to move out that spot. So you can't even say, I'll definitely be into Dublin City within the next hour because it just wouldn't happen.
What changes would you like to see to help women get more involved in community leadership?
The powers that be see that women have equally as much to add to the table and to the agenda. And for disabled women to get involved, we really need an understanding of what a PA package is and the difference between home care and a PA package, because the government still in 2021 are still putting, home care and disability into the same kind of area, and they're so not. So within ILMI, we're constantly campaigning that PA funding should have its own standalone funding. So every year we have the Minister for Finance, but they could say they're putting X million and billion in some cases into disability services, that it's actually going to the person with the disability themselves, and it's going to the appropriate supports that they need, because millions is put into the disability sector, if you like to call it that. We call it the disability community, but millions is put into disability every single year. But unfortunately, many individuals, in this case women with disabilities, aren't really accessing that. So I'd like to see more emphasis put on a direct payment, which I actually have from my PA funding. So the money is given directly to the person with the disability, and they control their budget, they control what they're doing with that money. Obviously it has to go towards their service and training for your PAs, but the only person that knows what they need is the person with the disability. So I'd love to see the money being put into the hands of women with disabilities themselves and letting them have that choice and control over their own lives, because until they're put on an even footing when it comes to their services, in my case, many times PA, they're not really going to be able to access the political life of, getting in to be a county councillor or becoming a TD, because it's the very basic things that stop you from accessing, political life. Because if you don't have someone to support you to get out of bed or drive that car, assist you to that meeting, no matter what kind of brain you have, people aren't going to see the potential. They're always going to see the issue. And that's why I think many women in general, let alone disabled women, can't really access it because of childcare, because of, school commitments. And that's why many women aren't involved in the political life. And the ones that are, in many great politicians out there now, but the ones that are constantly on the screen because there isn't enough women to share the load.
Yeah, and you're right. Our voices are not heard because of the barriers that we want to shout about, but we can't even get there because of the barriers.
Exactly. So in that sense, the barriers that a disabled woman face is very similar in many ways to the barriers that women in general face, whether it be childcare home commitments, or in my case, just getting outside the door. And many members that we deal with within independent living women face that every single day. They have great brains inside, but they're not able to maximize the ability they have, because they can't access the outside world for many different reasons.
Well, thank you for that. It's really highlighted for us the need to include disabled women's voices and to really be positive about that, to really go out and find disabled women's voices and bring them in rather than relying on people being able to get there themselves. And of course, that overlap, many disabled women are juggling childcare and home commitments as well as managing their own disabilities, the barriers that they're facing. What about the roles that women are playing in leadership now, and how important are they?
The more women we have in the Dáil and in the Senate are extremely important because they're seen as role models for the next generation. Because women are going to go away. We're half the population. So, but unfortunately, we don't have half our members of the electors that are women because of the barriers that we just said. So we need to really push the fact that we need more women voices heard in the Dáil. I mean, it's only in the last few years we have had the likes of Joan and Claire lately and Louisa Riley. Up to that point, we didn't really have, and we have Lynn in the Senate, we didn't really have many, role models for women to see that, yeah, we can actually do this too. And then we have Eleanor Flynn. So we need to see more female role models in the positions because otherwise the next generation are going to be like, it's just a boys' club. And that's what we need to hear their voices loud and clear because, it's like anything. If you don't see it on your telly screen or you hear it on the radio, you're not going to be inspired to get involved because you're always going to think your voice doesn't matter and everyone's voice matters, particularly women.
Well, you're absolutely right. We need that diversity of women's experiences there in leadership, right in the Oireachtas, so that we hear them, we see them all the time. And what do you think are the biggest challenges for the next generation of women in leadership? And what advice would you give, Shelly?
Like, start young. Get, get involved as young as you can because that makes your interest grow. Like I've been doing this, my mother would say I've been doing disability work since I get out of the room. I'm always giving out and always ready to take on the next fight. But the earlier you start, the better because you just got to educate yourself. So get involved in your local residents association, get involved with your local youth club, get involved with the local women's association. There's always something to get involved with. I was heavily involved in the water, like the water campaign. Just get involved in your community and get your face out there, get your voice out there. Most importantly, give your opinion because your opinion matters. Because chances are, if you feel that way, there's more than a very good chance that the next person feels that way, and you might inspire somebody else to speak up. And for all you know, there's thousands of people that feel like you. So if sometimes you have to be the first one to break the mold and say how you're feeling, and then you'll be amazed by the people that would follow and say the same thing. So you'll see that you're not alone. There's a collective of people that feel the exact same way, but somebody had to start at the ball rolling.
Everybody's afraid to be the first to speak up, aren't we?
Yeah, that's it. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to upset anyone. But at the end of the day, we all only get one life, whether you have a disability or not. So let's make the most of it.
Thank you, Shelly. That's really helpful. And I hope that so many young women will see your advice and be inspired by it and hopefully go and find something they're passionate about and committed to and get that experience that you said is so important to just grow and be more confident. And certainly you're a woman to watch in that respect.
Yeah, thank you.
Why?
I think it's really important that people, women in this case, have the voice heard because if we don't say it as women, who else is going to say it first? Because men don't think the way women do, and we don't think the way they do. So let's speak loud and proud.
Well, that's a pretty good note to end on. But I have one final question for you, Shelly, and that is, why do you think International Women's Day is important?
Because again, it shows that women are, you know, players in the big world, you know, and it recognizes what we've done and it recognizes what we've achieved and it lets other women see the next generation there is a need for women to be seen and heard and it's a thing of celebration. Being a woman in any country, particularly in Ireland at the minute, it's very difficult because we're all living through something that we never thought we'd live through. So let's go together. Let's have a party. Let's get our voices out there because if we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for us. So why not celebrate who we are, what we are?
Well, that's great, and we're certainly celebrating this week. We've heard your voice and so many others, amazing women in leadership in Fingal, and we've definitely got a lot to learn from you all. Shelley, thank you for joining me today,
Thank
and
you.
happy International Women's Day.
Same to you. Take care.